Lead scoring is the best way for your marketing and sales teams to be aligned on which contacts or companies they should be going after. I'm going to show you how to set it up in today's HubSpot hack. If you're new here, HubSpot Hacks is powered by SimpleStrat. We're a HubSpot solutions partner that help people like you get the most out of HubSpot and fully operationalize their system so it works for them. Down in the description, you'll see a link to our HubSpot Hacks newsletter to get all the latest and greatest tips, tricks, and tutorials right to your inbox, as well as a link to get hands-on help from the host of HubSpot Hacks. So be sure to check those out. Now let's get into setting up lead scoring. Want to mention before we dive into this that lead scoring is gated by either needing a sales professional, sales enterprise, or marketing professional or marketing enterprise hub. So if you already have those, you're good. If you don't and you think lead scoring might be worth it to you, again, that hands-on help option is down there in the description for us to chat. But first things first, you gotta log into HubSpot. So at the time of filming, the way this navigation is here, you go to the left-hand side for marketing and lead scoring. And to create a brand new lead score, you'll see Create Score up here at the top. Now, there are a couple different lead scores you can set up. You'll see here that there is Contact Engagement Score. That's going to be based on your contact's behaviors, interactions, and actions they're taking on your site or with your content or with the outreach that you're sending them. And then your Contact Fit Score is going to be demographic stuff like ICP information. Combined Score is going to be a mix of both of those, which is what I'm going to use to show you how to do this today so you can get a feel for both. And it's worth mentioning, you can also do this for companies and deals. So for companies, for example, for engagement score, that will use associated contacts. And you can also use other object stuff, which I'm going to show you here once we dive into things. So we're going to click contacts, and then at the top right here, we're going to click create to create a brand new score. So to start building your score, you're going to want to choose if you want to do your engagement stuff, which will be event group, or your property stuff first, which will be to add a property group. So let's get started with property groups to kick things off. Now let's cover some of the basics right off the bat. Here you'll see the combined score limits that we want to set for this lead scoring. So because this is a combined score, it's asking me the limits for each one individually, the property groups and the event groups. So right now they're set to -100 because we can have negative scoring, or 100 points each, which means my combined score limit is -200 or 200 here. So I can change this and I can go all the way up to 10,000 if I want to. My recommendation, especially if this is your first time, follow the KISS method. Oh God, don't use that. Don't use that. Keep it simple, silly. So what I'm trying to say, if you didn't catch that, was use the -100 to 100 point threshold. Now let's get started on our first group. So we'll call this one, we'll do demographics, which are going to be specific to the contacts that we are chatting with. So we're going to add an object. Again, I mentioned you can do cross object. That's where you would do it here based on the contact or any other associated objects here. But we are going to build this on our contacts, and let's use some basic demographic stuff. Let's say we want to do this based on job title. And we'll say is equal, or we'll do contains any of. So let's just say we're targeted on C-suite. So we're going to do contains chief, CEO, COO. You can add things like VP if you wanted to, vice president, since that's pretty close to C-suite. So anything containing these will edit your specific score. And then we'll say here, based on this job description, we want to add, let's do 10 points for this. You can also add additional conditions to this. So say, for example, like, human resources is not the criteria you want. So you definitely want to leave out chief human resources or VP of HR, things like that. So you want to do job title excludes, doesn't contain exactly HR or human resources. You can see how this just saves me a lot of time from adding or removing every single job title that somebody might have, to be included or to be excluded. So just kind of thinking around the box here for time saving. You also see there's an option to whether or not I want to include whether job title is empty. I don't want that because I don't want to score people without a job title. So now let's add some more property groups here, and let's get started with location. So say we're only really selling in the United States or North America. We can do that. The country or region contains any of, and obviously United States makes this messy. United States, USA, United States of America. Say we do Canada, North America, we do Mexico too. We can add points for this as well. So let's add 10 points. So we've got some basic demographic stuff. Now let's add some firmographic information, which will be related to the company. So let's add a new property here. We're going to call this Firmographic. And let's add an object for the associated company. So let's get started with revenue. So say, for example, we have annual revenue. We don't want to mess with anyone who's doing less than $1 million a year in revenue. So we'll say is greater than or is equal to, 1 million. And you'll want to verify that you are actually doing this right based on the property information in case it's like a threshold or anything along those lines. And for that, we will add 10 points. And then say, let's add in a negative one and say, and add some more property criteria. And this time, if it's less than that, we actually want to give negative scoring because we know like we absolutely do not work with them. And let's just say if it's less than $1 million, let's give them negative 10 points. That really indicates that they wouldn't have the budget to work with us in this example. Let's add in some more property groups here. Let's go based on location. So location of the person might be important. Location of the person might be important, but location of the company as well. So again, we'll do contains any of United States. We'll do Canada. Let's give them another 10 points. Let's add in number of employees. Let's say we're only greater than or equal to 100. Let's do another 10 points for them as well. So you're getting the idea of these contact property groups here. You'll notice that somebody could accumulate up to 30 points based on this firmographic information. You can set specific group limits. So you have your whole score limit that I showed you earlier. You can set specific group limits where, say, I don't want anyone to be able to get more than 20 points specifically from this group. So even if they have the annual revenue, they're in the country I want, they have the right number of employees. Another great one to add here would probably be industry too, if you have some specific industry focuses. But I don't want them to be able to get more than 20 points just from this group that like automatically qualifies them. I can set my thresholds here. So we've done some property-based stuff, demographic and firmographic. Now let's dive into what I think is the fun stuff, which will be engagement scores. So we're gonna add an event group here. Add event criteria, and let's do some page visits. So page visit, we'll click that little filter icon and we'll say that the page path contains any of pricing. So So please confirm like you have this right with your URLs, but if somebody views our pricing page, we're gonna wanna give them 10 points to help flag that for sales. Pretty cool here, a little AI option here to see high impact pages. So I can say, show me people who moved into customers within this time frame, and then show me what pages they're reviewing. I'm just in a test portal, so nothing's here, but highly recommend checking this out once you are building this out in your real portal. Now you can add a frequency to this. So say I want them to have done it at least twice for them to view this. Maybe one pricing page once, that can happen, anyone's looking at it, but 2 times, this person's serious. So again, just spitballing here, let's give them 10 points if they view it at least the page twice. And then let's say also within the last 30 days. So if this goes back and scores people who viewed it a year ago or anything like that, they're not gonna get positive points for it. Let's add some more events here. So you can do ads, calls happening, CTAs, custom events, forms, any integrations you might have built out. Emails might be huge, and media plays. So let's take a look at some marketing email stuff. And let's say you want to do it based on email opens or email clicks. Click the link in an email. Let's give them an initial 10 points. And then we can again choose, do we want to score this every time? Maybe we want to limit this to, this one specifically to 20 points. So they can't get 5,000 points if they just keep clicking a link in an email. And let's do some more. So let's do media, like a media play. If you're embedding any sort of content on your pages hosted in HubSpot, you can give them points for media plays as well. So far I've been adding them under one group. Let's add a new one and let's do some media plays, and we'll get to why in a second. So if you embed videos on your website pages hosted from HubSpot, you can add additional points there. But I wanted to group these separately because I wanted to be able to add a score decay here. So up here, I cannot do one because I have the decays built in here to the page visit. But up here, I just want to say, I want to reduce this. Let's give them 30 points for the media play. And I want to reduce this by 50% every 3 months. So the score will gradually go down, which is pretty handy because if somebody's engaging with you now, you don't want that score to be reflected 3 months from now, 6 months from now, that their engagement score is saying that they're active. Another one of the most popular ways that people utilize lead scoring is based off form submissions. And I don't mean like your regular requesting a demo or contact us, because those you should probably flag and reach out to right away. I mean more so like your resources or white papers, case studies, webinar signups, things like that. So when you're doing your lead scoring, you probably want to think about not only the assets that you have now that people could interact with and how you can incorporate them into your lead score, but also the assets that you might have in the future. And I'll touch on that in a second as I build out this lead scoring and I add some form submissions. So I've already got my event group here because form submissions is going to be an event group, and I'm going to click add event criteria and then search for forms. For the event, we're going to be doing form submissions. For there were some filters here that I clicked. Go down to, you can just search, or you can search for form name, and then do is any of, and then you can choose the form that you want to work off of. So I'm going to choose ebook downloads here, and then I'll make this worth 10 points. When I mentioned thinking about any content you might create in the future, this is actually one of those cases where you probably might want to use one form for all of your different case studies, webinars, things like that. But maybe a different one for case studies, a different one for webinars, but the same one for different of the same type of content. The reason being is then you don't have to go and edit your lead score every single time. What you can do though, if you want to deliver content differently, is build workflows based on those form submissions also on those certain pages. So if you've thought about that while I was thinking it, that's the workaround, is you build that workflow based on the form on a certain page, delivers a specific asset. There's no real right or wrong way to do it. That's just my suggestion. Just then every time you create a new piece of content in a new form, you probably need to edit your lead score. So we will choose our ebook here, ebook download. And again, you can choose to score every time or set a limit. So just limit this to, say 20 points, and they get 10 points each time. So if they download 3 ebooks, they wouldn't get 30 points. They only would get 20 points. All right, so before we move on, it's worth mentioning you can preview distribution here. So it'll analyze your database and tell you how you did with your scoring and what it might look like when it's actually run. So again, I'm in a test portal here, so nothing's actually going to come up. And you can test specific contacts in your CRM too. So say somebody was a perfect fit, just became a customer, how would they have been scored? You can test with those contacts. Now moving forward to some settings here in the Contacts tab, this is where you can choose which contacts in your CRM you actually want to score. So by default, it will be all contacts, and then you can add some exclusion lists here. So say, for example, you have a list of people who have hard bounced, meaning their email is no longer active. That's probably worth adding them here, even though the score is probably not going to be high anyway, but you could exclude them from the list. Another good one's actually probably your customers. You want to exclude your customers from this list because you don't want them being flagged for your sales team as well. Or you could just do specific contacts if you wanted to build a segment of people that you specifically wanted to lead score. And then lastly, we're going to click into settings where you're going to want to name some properties. So what do you want to call your fit score? This is going to be specifically your property groups. So you can look at these as properties individually. I'm going to call these our HubSpot hacks fit score. For engagement score, I'm just going to do HubSpot hacks engagement score. And then for total score, I'll call this one our HubSpot hacks total score. Then we have our thresholds, which is called our HubSpot hack threshold. So this is going to be what qualifies someone to be a hot lead versus medium versus cold, for example. So high, medium, and low. So based out of the 100 points for each one, anything over 75 would be flagged for green, for fit, and for engagement. 50 to 74 medium, and anything below that, down to 100, would be considered low. And then you'll see here in this diagram, based on level of fit, if they are over 75 in both, they'll be really bright green as an A1, maybe in one of them, just an A2 here. And then once we're all done setting up our lead score, just click review and turn on. It gives you one more kind of overview here. I guess the last thing I forgot to do is name this lead score, which you're going to do. And then click turn on up here. So there we have it. We've set up our HubSpot lead score. So the next thing you'd probably want to do is actually set up those handoffs. So once somebody hits those marketing lead scores, it routes them and notifies sales that there's someone they want to reach out to, as mentioned here on this screen when you finish setting up your lead score. So thank you so much for watching this HubSpot hack on lead scoring. Remember, down in the description is going to be a link to our newsletter to get all the latest and greatest HubSpot tips, tricks, tutorials right to your inbox, as well as a link to get hands-on help from the host of HubSpot Hacks if you want us to get inside your portal and actually help you out. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and happy HubSpotting.